Hello everyone, welcome to It's Crochet O'Clock. My name is Stephanie and today we are working on part 2 of the Arizona Crochet Along by Pippin Poppycock. I will leave all of the information for Pippin Poppycock below in the description box if you would like to visit the website and read the information about the Crochet Along. We're going to start part 2 on row 5 and that starts out with color 1. For me, that is white. I am not certain what that is going to be for you. The first stitch calls for a standing single crochet, so we are just going to prepare for that, making a little slip knot there. And our first stitch is going to go in the, not the first one, which is this chain, it's going to go right there. So we need to make a standing single crochet. Grab that tail. Standing single crochet. And we are going to crochet in the next 18 stitches. So all the way up to the peak. I'm just crocheting over that tail to lock it in. And hopefully I won't have it unravel. It's never happened to me before, but there's a first time for everything. Almost up there. Dum, dum, dum. Getting closer. Just 2 more. All right. Now we're at the peak, so what we are going to do here is we will do single crochet, chain 2, and then single crochet right here in that space. There's 1 single crochet, chain 2, oop, and then another single crochet. And now we are going to single crochet in the next 19 stitches. Here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, and 19. Okay, now for this stitch, we are going to single crochet 2 together. And if you get lost on what to do with the valleys, we know that whenever we're working up on the peaks, it's 19 stitches. So if you get lost on where you should be placing these, you can just go ahead and count these stitches. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, and 19. So you are going to count this space right here in the valley, this one right here. We're going to make these two single crochets together. So you insert your hook, yarn over, pull up, and don't complete that single crochet. And we're going to go right into that next one, pull up. We'll have 3 loops on the hook, yarn over, and pull through both of them. Now the rest of this row is just repeats of this. 19 stitches up, single crochet, chain 2, single crochet, 19 stitches down, and then 2 single crochets together there. When you get to the end, you will have 1 stitch left on the end, and that's okay. That's the way that it's supposed to be, but you'll just fasten off 1 stitch before the end, and I will see you for row 6. Okay, we are back. We have finished row 5, and this is what the end of it looks like. I know that it's a bit unconventional and you're probably used to straight edges, but just go with the flow. It will work out at the end. Make sure that you've left that last stitch. Row 6 is color 2, which is silver in the pattern. For me, it is this pale yellow, and we are going to join to our first stitch, which is the top of that standing single crochet that we started row 5 with. Just going to do a normal color join, and remember that first stitch does not count. So we are going to chain 2 now. There's 1 and 2, and then we are going to double crochet in the next stitch. Now this counts as 2 double crochet together for this pattern. We are going to double crochet 17 more times. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, and 17. Now from here we are going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3. Going to skip this stitch and place a single crochet right there in the peak. Then we will chain 3, then we are going to skip this stitch and place a double crochet right there, and we need 16 more for a total of 17 double crochets going down. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16. So there's our 17 double crochets down from the peak, and now we're at the valley. And I have placed these stitch markers here because this one gets kind of confusing. Our next stitch that we are going to work is 4 double crochets together, but we are going to skip a stitch in the middle, and the stitch that we are going to skip is this valley stitch. This is where we did the 2 single crochets together. We're going to skip that one, so we're only going to work in these 2 stitches and then these 2 stitches. So let me take these out, and I'm going to move this into the valley stitch, which might be something that you would want to do as well, so you don't accidentally crochet into it, because that will throw off your count and you will be unhappy. Okay, double crochet 4 together. So we will yarn over, insert our hook, yarn over, pull up, yarn over, pull through 2, and then we will yarn over, insert our hook into the next stitch, yarn over, pull up, yarn over, pull through 2. We are going to skip over the valley stitch. We will yarn over and insert our hook into the next stitch, yarn over, pull through 2, and then one more, yarn over, insert into the next stitch, yarn over, pull up, yarn over, pull through 2. So at the end of it, you should have 5 loops on your hook, yarn over, and pull through all 5. And that is what it looks like. So from here, you will do 17 double crochets up. You will skip this last stitch, chain 3, single crochet in the peak, chain 3, skip this stitch, 17 double crochets all the way down to the next valley, and you will repeat what we have done here. Now I will meet you back at the end to show you how to finish this row. Okay, we are now at the end of row 6. I have worked the 17 double crochets down to the end. And now for these last 2 stitches, we are going to work 2 double crochet together. So you yarn over, insert into the stitch, yarn over, pull up, yarn over, pull through 2, then yarn over, insert into that last stitch, yarn over, pull through 2, and then pull through 3. And that completes the end of the row. You just need to fasten off, weave in your end. If you're weaving in ends like I am as I go, like I said, don't worry about this ending, it'll be okay. I will see you back for row 7 in just a moment. Row 7 starts on the right side just as it has previously, and this one is in color 3, which is gray if you're reading along with the pattern. For me, it's this little bit darker shade of yellow going with the gradient. We are going to join to the second stitch. So it's not this stitch right here, because at the beginning of the previous row, you remember we chained and then we double crocheted, and that counted as a 2 double crochet together. We are going to work into this next stitch. We're just going to join the yarn. Remember, that does not count as a stitch. Then we will chain 2, 1, 2, and then we will double crochet in the next space. And this, again, just like the previous row, this is going to count as 2 double crochet together. And now we are going to double crochet in the next 14 stitches. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14. We're going to chain 3, and then we are going to skip this stitch, And we are going to place 2 single crochets in this chain space. There's 1, and then there's 2. Then we are going to single crochet at the top of the peak, and then we are going to place 2 single crochets again in this chain space. There's 1, and there is 2, and then we are going to chain 3. Then we are going to skip a stitch, and we are going to place 14 double crochets. So remember, we're skipping right there. Place 1 right here. Just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14. Now we are going to do just as we did the previous row. We are going to double crochet 4 together over 5 stitches. So we're going to skip the one in the valley. So we will insert here, yarn over, and into the next. And then we're going to skip this valley stitch, into the next, and the last one. Pull through all of them. And now from here, you will double crochet in the next 14 stitches, and you will repeat the chain 3, skip the last stitch, 2 single crochets in this chain space, 1 single crochet in the very top of the peak, 2 single crochets, chain 3, skip this one, and then 14 double crochets down, and you'll be right back to right here, and I will meet you at the end. Okay, we are back, and we have finished row 7, well, almost finished it. I have worked 14 double crochets down this end. Now here, it might get a little bit confusing, but you just have to remember that these stitches right here, this is a together stitch on the previous row, so there's only 3 spaces up here when it looks like there should be 4. And here we're going to place another 2 double crochets together to finish off this row. So into the first one, yarn over, and then you just need to fasten off. And that is row 7. Let's move on to 8. On to row 8, we are going to use color 4. If you're following along with the pattern, that is graphite. For me, we are moving into the orange, which is just a little darker than the yellow that I was using previously. For this one, just like the previous rows, we have these 2 stitches right here, which count as our double crochet 2 together. We're not going to start there. We are going to start in the next stitch. We are going to join our work. And that does not count as a stitch. And then we are going to chain 2. And then we will double crochet in the next space. And just like before, this is going to count as a double crochet 2 together. Now we are going to double crochet in the next 11 stitches. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And we're going to chain 3. We are going to skip this stitch, 2 single crochets into this chain space. Then we're going to single crochet in these 5 spaces. It might be a little bit difficult to get into. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to place 2 more single crochets in this chain space. Then we're going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. And then we are going to skip a stitch, which is this one right here, and we are going to double crochet in the next 11 stitches. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Now, just like previous, we are going to double crochet 4 together, and we are going to skip the valley portion. So there goes 1 space, and there's 2. We're going to skip the valley. 3, 4, and there we go. So that is how you work row 8. From here, you would just continue on 11 stitches, skipping this space, chain 3, 2 single crochets in this space, 5 single crochets, 2 single crochets in the chain 3 space, chain 3, skip this stitch, 11 more double crochets, and then 4 double crochets together, skipping over this valley. And I will meet you at the end. Okay, I have worked all the way down this row, and now I have worked 11 double crochets coming down towards the last valley, the imaginary valley here. And now I have 3 stitches left. This is the 2 double crochets together from the previous round. We are going to work another 2 double crochet at the end here. There's 1. And that's the end. Now we just need to fasten off. And that is row 8. Let's move on to 9. Row 9 starts just like the previous 3 rows. If you are working on with the pattern, this is the 5th color, which is black. For me, it is this darker orange. Just like we've done before, you're going to skip the first stitch, which is the double crochet 2 together, and we are going to attach in the second stitch. And then we are going to chain 2 and double crochet in the next space. This counts as a double crochet 2 together. And now we are going to double crochet in the next 8 spaces. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, Now we are going to chain 3, 2, 3. We're going to skip this space and 2 single crochets in the chain space, just like we've done the previous 3 rounds. Now we're going to single crochet over the next 9 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 2 single crochets in the chain space. 1, 2, chain 3. Now we are going to work 8 double crochets, and remember we skip this stitch, the first stitch in the next row or grouping, going down into the valley. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now we are going to work 4 double crochets together over 5 stitches. Remember, we're going to skip over this center stitch. There's 1, 2, skipping, 3, 4, and that is how row 9 is worked. You're going to continue on and repeat this going all the way to the end, and we finish this row. I'm not going to come back and finish this row with you because I think by now you've already got it. You finish it with the 2 double crochet together. You'll still have 1 stitch left at the end, and I will see you for row 10 next. Alrighty, row 10 is going to be worked in color 7. If you're following along with the pattern, that is lipstick. For me, that is turquoise. We are going to connect to the top of the first stitch, which was the double crochet 2 together from the previous row. And connected, chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now we are going to work 2 double trebles in the next stitches. 1, 2, 3, very tall stitches. Whew. Alrighty. One more time. 1, 2, 3, 2 double trebles. Now we are going to work 2 trebles. And there's 1. And there's 2. And now we are going to work 2 double crochets. One, two, then 2 half double crochets, and then 2 single crochets in the chain space. Now we're going to single crochet in the next 13 stitches. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Now we are going to place 2 single crochets in that chain space. Now we are going to work 2 half double crochets. And there's 1. Oop, that was a single. Here we go. Two double crochets. Two trebles. And now we are going to work 5 double trebles. Really tall stitches. There's 1. Two. 3, 4, and 5. We're going to work 2 trebles. Oops. There's my second treble. And then 2 double crochets. And then 2 half double crochets. And then 2 single crochets in the chain space. So that is how you work row 10. You're going to repeat this 7 more times, and what I am going to do is I will meet you back at the end, but I'm going to meet you right up here, right after you finish placing those 2 single crochets, and I will show you how to finish off row 10. Now I need to place 13 single crochets going across. So let's work those. There is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13. We need to place 2 single crochets in this chain space. There's 1, 2. Now we're going to work 2 half doubles. Now we are going to work 2 double crochets. Followed by 2 trebles. And 2 double trebles. All right, from here we are going to chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Then we are going to slip stitch to the top of this double crochet 2 together. And from here you can fasten off your work. And that is row 10 complete. Row 11 is worked in color 7. If you're following along with the pattern, that is lipstick for me. It is turquoise. So we are going to attach to the first stitch, which is this chain 5 here. And she does not specify, but this row is single crochets all the way across. So what I am going to do is I am going to start with a standing single crochet. So I'll just make a slip knot. And then I am going to go into the top of this chain. Work my standing single crochet there. And then for the rest of this row, it is nothing more than single crochets all the way across the work. So if you want to pause the video and work single crochets all the way across this row, I just want to remind you that at the end of this row we had another chain as well that we finished on, this long chain here. So remember that you have to single crochet into the top of that one as well. When you get finished, you should have 271 single crochets all the way across, and then fasten off, and we'll start with row 12. Okay, for row 12, we are going to be working in color number 1. If you're following the pattern, it's white, and for me, it is also white. This start is going to be a bit tricky. For this row, we are going to be working in the front loops only. So if you've never worked in front loops before, you can see how we have these little V's up here at the top. We are only going to be stitching into this front loop on the right side of the work. And for the first stitch, we are going to work a standing front loop treble crochet. So we'll need to make a slip knot. And you yarn over twice. I like to put my thumb on it to hold it in place. And then we have to find this first loop right there. Yarn over, pull through. Let me grab this tail back here to hold that steady. 1, 2, oh, 2, and then 3. We are going to work another, this is one that you're going to have to weave in your end, because we are actually, the next row we're going to be working in the back loop, so we won't be able to crochet over this. So we're going to work another treble in the front loop. We're going to find that front loop. And there we go. And this is going to feel a bit awkward until you get a couple in there. We're going to work this same stitch all the way across this. I'm just going to do it with you a couple more times for those people who aren't familiar with the front loops. It's going to look a bit crazy for right now, but that's okay. So again, we're working in the front loop only. So we're going to split that V. So by the fourth one, it feels just a little bit more stable than it does at the beginning. It's very, very iffy at the beginning, but it'll sort itself out. You just got to have faith and keep going. There you go. Front loops only, leaving that back loop there for us. And you will work this all the way to the end, but do not fasten off because we are going to turn our work for row 13. And I will meet you for that. Okay, for row 13, I have finished all of my treble crochets. And now I have flipped my work and I am on the back side. We did not cut at the end. So now what we have to do is we worked in the front loops 2 rows back. For this one, we are going to do a folding single crochet. And what that means is this first one is quite difficult to get to. But this first one, you're going to insert your hook into the back loop. And then you will come up to the top loop. Let me get that working yarn out of the way. This is the last V. And you will insert your hook. Let me make sure that I get this right on camera. Pull this working yarn away into the last V. The rest of them are not as difficult as the first one. Pull through the back loop of the treble and then the back loop of the single crochet below it and single crochet. So again, we are working in the back loop, and then you find the back loop up here that you want to pull down. There we go. And again, just like the previous row, it's going to be kind of crazy until you get a rhythm going. But once you get into the rhythm, it'll be quite easy. A tip that I learned while I was working with the testers was to just fold these down and bring them close to each other. It's kind of hard to tell with the white, but there's the V's. And you just bring it down and insert your hook into the back loop. And then insert your hook into the back loop of the treble. And you'll just continue on working all the way to the end. And like I said, that working yarn kind of gets in the way. So you're going to have to work around that working yarn. Just going to work just a couple more with you. Come on. just so I can flip it over on the other side and you can see what it looks like, because it does look kind of crazy from the back side. But it makes a lovely effect on the front side. And however it is that you need to fold or turn your work, you do what is best for you, what is best and easiest for you. Like I said, for me, it's easiest folding them down close together, and then I can slip through the back loops. Let me do just a couple more, then I will flip it over. Okay. So this is what it looks like on the back, but this is the effect that it makes on the front. Pretty nifty, huh? So you'll continue this all the way down until the very last stitch. Work the same stitch in the last stitch, and then you will fasten off, weave in your ends, and then you just need to repeat everything that we have worked on, starting from here all the way up. That's part 2 on the opposite side. And I will see you next week for part 3.